Invincible Season 3. It was good. The last episode just came out, and wow, what a final fight. I'll tell you later in the video when we get to spoilers, but definitely a better action scene than anything we got in Season 2. It was worth the wait. But the road to getting there was a little rocky. See, this season had a lot of good plots going for it. Oliver as a character was really good, and according to some people I've heard that read the comics, he's better here in the show than there. His struggle with morality, risking his own body. When he punched through the Mauler twins, I was like, whoa, that is really interesting. Like, I stepped back in my seat like, okay, that's where we're taking this character. And it's really hard to disagree with him, arguing to kill villains when, yeah, he's kind of right. It'll save future victims from being hurt. The side plot with Alan and Omni-Man was fun. I still like Cecil. They give him a little backstory. I didn't expect that, but that was neat. The animation, well, we'll get to that. The overarching story is engaging. So what could be wrong? How about every other human character in the show? Yeah, I know this isn't really a popular take, but it's 100% how I feel. I don't really care about most of these side characters, most of these side plots, and definitely not about the romances. Like, ironically enough, I thought the idea of Mark and Eve getting together was more enticing when they weren't together. Like when Mark was contemplating his relationship with Amber. Their banter isn't super funny or emotionally deep. 70% of it is just Mark saying, being a superhero is so hard. And then Eve says, you're right, Mark. It is hard, but you can do it. I'm there for you. And then they make out or something. I don't know. You see, the problem is it reduces Eve's character to being like a support character for Mark. She just becomes the make Mark feel better person. The story overall has like a very reductive attitude to conflict in relationships in general. Like, oh, if you're not seeing eye to eye, just break up, lol, I don't know. And I know comic readers are gonna tell me their connections get more interesting later on in the story. I'm sure it does. But it's not just Mark and Eve I'm talking about. It's the story needs to have like 4 relationships going on at the same time. Kate and Immortal, Rex and Rachel, who, by the way, spoilers, was only a thing because it made Rex's death more meaningful. Like, that is the only reason that existed. Rudy and Monster Girl, Debbie and Paul. Damn it, I'm shocked they didn't give Oliver a girlfriend at this point. It's the story's like default card of, we don't know what to do with this person, make them fall in love. I don't know. Dude, I'm kind of begging for like a single male-female interaction in the show that isn't romantic. Like a single connection that doesn't have a cliche awkward dialogue around it. Don't listen to what the Reddit incels tell you. A guy and a girl can be friends. You know what I mean? The intermediate dialogue from certain characters, cough cough, Rexplosion, is kind of the Achilles heel of the show. I just don't find a lot of these characters funny. It's always been this way. Even in season 1, cough cough, Amber. I feel like some characters, like the writers are like, what would a funny, goofy person say in this situation? Instead of just, I don't know, trying to make character dynamics work off of each other more organically. And so I'll just laugh if Cecil's assistant says, you're gonna want to see this, sir, or something like that. Mark really said, I don't even know how to set up my email, and you can make a whole business. Like, motherfucker, you are 19 years old. What do you mean you can't set up your email, bro? Another problem is, there really is just too many human characters, like in quantity. You don't need this many characters when a lot of them aren't doing anything interesting. Pop quiz. What's Bulletproof's real name? And what's his story? What does he want? What does he do? Don't know? Yeah, neither do I. There's like a moment where Rudy makes a tech belt that magically fixes Monster Girl's de-aging curse. So she no longer gets younger every time she uses her monster power. See, here's the thing. That's a neat idea for a scene. But the problem is it completely takes away any and all care I had for Monster Girl. Because now, like, she's just a girl that can turn into a monster. That's it. And she doesn't have any cool or crazy moments in fights. She's just there. There's a lot of just there characters. And I feel like her whole character setup and power was written on the back of a napkin and pitched to people that wouldn't say yes to anything. So here's the idea. She's a girl, who can turn into a monster. But here's the catch. Every time she uses it, she gets younger, and that's why she's a little girl. Oh, so do we see her progressively get younger and younger throughout the show, and she gets weaker and smaller, and this creates conflict, and during some interesting fight that plays some sort of role in the story? No, they just complain about it a lot. And eventually it gets fixed too. And it's not even like they had to do something in particular to fix it. Rudy just makes a magic belt, and it's all a setup for another mediocre romance subplot. Bro, I think even the show knows some of these characters are just throwaways. They made a whole deal on Twitter about Fortnite making a free skin of Duplicate. Like, they were just giving it away. Like, bro, ain't no one giving their hard-earned money to buy this shit. I remember there was a fight against the Mauler twins, and she only makes like 3 or 4 clones of herself. Like, bro, make like 20 or 30 or 40. What are we doing? This tends to happen in long-running series when side characters outlive their purpose. Like their arc finishes and the show doesn't know what to do. So they just throw her in fights for her to lose like in like 4 seconds. Shapesmith is another one. I don't even find him particularly funny, even though he's supposed to be like Weird Man from... You guys remember that Weird Man from Mad? He's kind of like that. And what's crazy is every time I hear him talk, I just hear Sonic.
I was born a baby Martian, far away on the planet Mars.
Konnichiwa.
This is Obama, get down!
At least are good. I will give you this. Massive spoilers from here on out, okay? Conquest in particular, I mean, once the story gets away from the humans, it gets better, noticeably. The whole final fight is awesome. It's very well animated, like very obviously they saved their budget for this finale, and you know what? Why not? They did a good job. Mark is getting his ass handed to him. You get the Oliver subplot meshing very nicely into the fight as he tries to save him and he damn near dies himself. That sequence where he's about to where Conquest is about to rip Oliver apart, it reminded me of Omni-Man crushing Red Rush, except this time Mark comes just in time to continue the fight. Then Eve comes in and gives him a struggle before she almost dies. And then together with some random Deus Ex Machina superpower plot armor bullshit, I don't even know what this is, whatever, they defeat Conquest. Eve is awesome in this fight. Listen, just to clarify, right? I like Eve a lot as a character. I just think her romance with Mark in season 3 is kind of mid. But, you know, on her own... when she's fighting, she low-key steals the show and provides a perfect break from the just punch, 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 hit, hit, hit action that is 2 Viltrumites going at it. It's a very nice breather. This motherfucker Conquest clapped his hands and Eve's Matter Shield got wrecked. Like, damn. Definitely one of the best one-off villains we've gotten. Although, obviously, he's not dead, because, well, nobody really dies in this show. I feel like they do that too much in Invincible, by the way. Characters constantly come back. Like, they killed Rex, sure, but everyone else, Angstrom, Kate, Conquest, they come back. Overall, like, it was good. It was. But there's just so much fat that the story could trim, in my opinion. There were people on Twitter complaining about the animation and showing stills from the show versus from their respective comic book scenes. Which, yes, I get it. Sometimes the animators are pretty sloppy with body language specifically. I don't really care about backgrounds or shading too much. I don't really care about Angstrom having a ton of detail on his face. I can go without that. But the funeral scene where they're all just like kind of standing like stick figures, yeah, that could have been drawn better. But to be honest, that's the price you pay when making these seasons once every couple years. So ultimately, I can't really criticize it from a business perspective. It does kind of suck, that whole meme of, I looked at Invincible and sighed. Yeah, I get it. But the action is still good enough to forgive it. It is still a good, well-rounded show that I enjoyed. Anyway, that's all about all I got. So thanks for listening, and bye!